First few
Well,
minutes while we're delayed, we'll just pose and, you know.
yeah.
I like it. We have to
Strike a
all do this.
pose.
Well, because so
Pretend laugh.
Terry, you're an introvert, and Jim, you're obviously an extrovert, like me. Carrie, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Oh, geez, good question. Isn't it gauged based off of like your energy levels? I think if it's
Yeah.
that, I'm an introvert.
Yeah, but you're like
Okay.
you're like an extroverted
She's
introvert, you know?
ambivert.
Yeah.
Ambivert.
I'll say,
Yeah.
what do they call it now? It's you're either a cat dog or a dog cat person.
I'm a
Right.
lizard guy. Sorry.
He's a lizard guy.
I'm a lizard guy. Cats,
Mm.
dogs, it's like apples and oranges.
Yeah, I guess, okay, here's the way to say it. My preference is intimacy, right? So I think if I had to choose
We
between
are
the crowd.
live.
Oh,
No,
whoops.
let's keep talking about her
We'll keep
intimacy.
talking
What's
about your
going on?
intimacy.
So
Yeah,
got
please
this. I,
Introduce
I like
everyone
being
let's
first.
really dive into
really
this right
Carrie, she's
now.
our
first of
introvert intimacy
all.
expert.
Yes, it's gonna be a whole different hour here. So
We're gonna have a
Right.
whole talk about intimacy.
we're gonna go off script.
We're getting deep.
All right. So, hey everybody, and welcome to the Building Doors LinkedIn Live for July. I'm your host Terry Briscoe from the Microphone Insider, and today we're diving into Building Doors inclusive communities. I am so happy to be joined by my cohort Jim Frank, also from the Microphone Insider, Carrie Sutcliffe from Arcane Fiction, and Sky Moffat from Such a Voice, and they will be sharing insights with us today. We want this to be an interactive conversation, so please drop your thoughts and questions in the comments, and we'll be checking the chat throughout the event. We'd love to hear from you beyond the chat. Call 216-307-1917 anytime during or after the event and leave a short voicemail with your thoughts on today's discussion and the Building Doors campaign itself. I also want to give a special shout out to some of our supporters who recently bought us some coffee. Many thanks to Jessica Blue, Uncle Roy, yay, Marion Mills, and Deb DeVries. If you love the Building Doors campaign, our live events, or our podcast, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/buildingdoors. Now let me get into introducing our guests today. Our first guest, Sky Moffat from Such a Voice. She's a veteran in the VO community.
Also adorable.
Also super adorable. Um, she's a veteran, a military veteran, and fell into the VO industry 10 years ago and is looking forward to many more. While not a voice actress herself, I mean, come on, Sky. Sky is the head of talent and industry ambassador for Such a Voice, a voiceover education and demo production team. When she's not doing her part on the executive team at SAV, she's growing her casting business and networking with the innumerable talented individuals within the industry, like our panel today. All right. And you can contact her or you can reach her at her LinkedIn, just Sky Moffat on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Second guest, Mr. Jim Frank, a seasoned voice actor with a rich background spanning over 20 years in radio, stand up comedy, live emceeing, lizard grooming, and podcast hosting. His transition into professional voiceover has seen him excel across commercial animation, video games, e learning, and automotive narration, operating from his well equipped, sound treated home studio. A passionate community builder, Jim is an active founder and contributor to the Microphone Insider, a voice acting hub that offers podcasts, workshops, coaching, career guidance, and industry news. He regularly hosts and participates in events that feature industry leaders like Tina Morasco, Malik Berger, David Fanoy, Kristen Piva, and J. Michael Collins, discussing topics ranging from vocal performance and branding to audio setup. We can go on and on and on, but we're going to move on. And our
I'm
third
still waiting
guest,
on that coffee from Uncle Roy. When's that showing up?
uh-oh. Our third guest today is Carrie Sutcliffe, the founder of Arcane Fiction, a company specializing in immersive storytelling mediums, including cinematic audio fiction and AR comics. With years of experience as a voice actor herself, narrator, and indie audiobook producer, she's voiced hundreds of characters and produced over 24 story titles. Carrie has also built a thriving community of over 300 collaborators, including dynamic voice performers, sound engineer wizards, comic artists, and fringe authors, united in crafting powerful fiction. Based in the Mojave Desert, she designs intricate sonic worlds from her home studio, balancing production with raising a family and fending off mischievous coyotes and backyard ravens. We're going to have to talk about these ravens. How's everybody doing today?
Amazing. Thank you. What a
Wow,
great
indeed.
introduction.
Sunshiny day. You wouldn't know it because some of you are in your booths, but the sun's out.
I mean,
Yeah,
it is
Well, I
so
mean,
hot already here.
I lose track of all time.
I have clouds where I'm at, so I'm not quite sure where the sun's at today, but yeah.
Oh my. Oh, let's see. We got some comments
How's Terry
already.
Briscoe doing? I think is the question. How's Terry doing today?
Oh,
Terry
yes.
Briscoe was doing good, man. Thank
Yeah.
you for asking. Looking forward to a lot of things we got coming up, and we can talk about all that later. But right now, I'm so excited to have you guys. So let's get into this topic that I feel is so very important for
Yeah.
us creatives, and that is building community. So
Mhm.
let's begin. How did each of you start building community, and what drew you to this work? Let's start with Carrie.
Thank you. Elected. Yes. Well, my community came about because primarily when I was voice acting, I wanted community. I think that I was just feeling the desire that I had when I was on the other side, you know. And I think it's a lonely career, VO.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
we're all in our own separate booths, but also the auditioning process and just the hustle of it can get really lonely. And I wanted a place where we could feel like we had each other, you know, where you can talk to each other, you can share wins, you can share discouragements, you can share projects. That's another thing, too, is just if someone lands a killer casting call and they
Yeah.
think this is amazing, I'd love to share it, somewhere to share that. So you don't feel like you're in the void just doing your own hustling. Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, what's open right now? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? It was mostly that. And then a little bit just for my own uh, I didn't like the mass casting call attempt that
Mhm.
I had started with, you know. So when I first jumped into Arcane and we ran our first casting call, I did a giant public casting call, and that felt so impersonal. And so I'm like, I think the way that I'd like to do it is bring people closer and be able to talk with them directly. Oh yes, turn up my gains. Tell me when.
Thanks, Soraya.
Oh, that's good.
May sound good to me. I don't know.
Do I sound better now?
Oh, that is better. Yeah, yeah.
It was a
Okay,
bit soft, yeah.
Careful,
great.
there's voice actors listening.
Oh
I
Oh
no.
know.
yeah.
It's like
Oh
above
yeah.
my
Ay, ay.
gain.
We're the worst.
Well, I gotta say, Carrie, as far as like the way you do you seem the specificity is very high in when you send out your auditions from what I've seen. So we must have changed some stuff from when you very first started. So you
Yes.
learned and advanced.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you're right. And now I try to be very specific. And I do have voice talent in mind now when I send casting calls out now, I know exactly who I want to tag and I try to make it very specific and personal. And it's tricky, because I have a larger community to remember everyone. But I also have great Google Sheets that track everybody's keywords,
Mhm.
favorite characters, voices, impressions they left on me. And, organization is key.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So
Yeah.
let's move on to Sky. Thank you, Carrie.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the way that I've built my community, I mean, obviously the voiceover community is just wildly welcoming. And I think for a lot of beginners, they don't know that yet. And so it's very daunting and intimidating. I actually spoke with somebody at VO Atlanta this last year, and she was like, well, I don't want to talk to the wrong person and ruin my career, my prospects. They could destroy my career. I'm like, well, first of all, I don't know who it is, but no, they can't. There's no one person that's going to destroy your career. But secondly, it's just so welcoming. And so I think there's an intimidation factor. I had to get over that hump as well of, oh my God, this is a really big voice actor, but I actually have work for them. And so you just kind of you've got to really go for it. And once you start building, I think everyone is so interconnected here, whether it's you're a veteran, whether it's you're a woman in the business, whether it's you both like hot dogs. There's so much just common ground, And so I think over the years, and earlier how the intimacy thing came up was, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? How does that reflect how you reach out to people? And so I'm a person who's able to just, casually talk to pretty much anybody. I'd talk to a lamppost if it didn't move. And
I think I've seen you do that.
I know, right?
I have done that.
Perfect for VO.
But not a lot of people can do that, you know? And so I think it's just having the bravery to actually reach out to people it builds your community so quick. And then I was actually talking with Elena Wiss earlier in the year. And one of the things that she said is stop reaching out to people with an agenda. And I think that that's so vital because it's not just like, oh, I have work for you, or, oh, do you have work for me? Oh, let's make this an exchange of goods and services. It's, hey, I loved what you did, or, hey, you know, oh, you're from DC. I think if you just focus on common ground, it's really easy to build the community. Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I think the building of the community, it's come very organically. It's not overly forced. And I think that's where people might struggle the most. But yeah, it's been great because I've got such a voice community. I have my own voice community. I've got just all these little pockets and things, and they can be separate or together.
So, with your military background,
Yeah.
how do you feel that carries over into building community in the voiceover world?
It has its ups and downs. One of the things when I tripped out of the military and fell into voiceover, very gracefully, mind you, I think one of the first things that I realized was people thought that I was mean.
Who in the world could possibly think you're mean?
Well, I don't know if you remember when you were in the military, but when you ask for something or contact somebody, I need this, buy this. Thanks.
Yeah, it's called a deadline.
Yeah. And you've got there's so much more interpersonal when you're out of the military. And so in some ways it really primed me because you can't not ask for what you need. And that's any industry, you know, and it's building your team, you know, these are the people that mentor me. These are the people that I can help. It's just building all these different teams to support you. But you also have to do it properly because coming out of the military, it was like, oh, I have to add fluff. I have to fluff things now. Okay.
Yeah, I had a conversation about that recently with someone. You gotta dial that back a little bit.
Well, you know, and people respond differently. You know, some people appreciate that and they just consider it clarity, right? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes there doesn't need to be a, hey, how are you? Sometimes it's like, hey, I've got a deadline. Let's go.
You know, coming from radio, we used to have word economy. We used to have things posted that had 37 words in it, and half of them were crossed out, but yet it still gave the same message. So, you know, that word economy thing was huge with me. So, yeah, I need this, buy this, thank you. It's not rude. It's just efficient.
To the point. It's to the point.
It's that no fluff bluntness, but I think in
no
building
fluff
communities.
Bluntness. Prime Muffet, a VO with no fluff.
I love it.
Yeah, I think that fluff can be so good. I mean, because it's community. It's helping each other. It's celebrating each other. You know, I think Building Doors is a perfect example of celebrating the work that we can do. And so, I think celebration is a big aspect of it. If you shine, we all shine. If Jim shines, we all shine.
Yeah,
I agree, but especially Jim.
Especially Jim, obviously. Yeah.
So, Jim, what drew you to this work?
Me?
Yes, you.
I got fired and I need a job. No, I'm
talking about building community in voiceover.
I've been behind a microphone for almost 5 decades now, in one aspect or another. And coming from radio, it was such a different community. It was very cutthroat. I mean, you could be taking someone's job in 2 weeks and know about it 2 months beforehand, and you can't say anything. And they're friends, and it was just a cutthroat business. And it got to a point where it was very impersonal because I was voice tracking. So I decided just to leave and get out of that 10 by 10 box. Now I'm in a 5 by 8 box, but you know, it's padded better. So I'm having a lot more fun, but I always missed that community of radio because I was always, for the most part, I was part of a team. Like Frank's Place with Jim and Sarah, the Jim and Bethany Morning Show. It was always some sort of Frank Nation with Frank and Amber. You know, there was always some sort of collaboration going on, and I missed that. So to get that back, the Microphone Insider, which started off as TMI, too much info, because you can never get too much information in this business, is there to post information about workshops and gear and ask questions and have a safe place to do this. And then it's like, well, I'm missing the radio aspect, so we need something to get on the air. So why not do a video podcast, TMI? And, being the radio guy, you think of these alliterations and you think of, all these things. TMI, the microphone insider. It just made sense. Get the inside information, be an insider. And we built this community, and it has grown over the course of, it'll be 2 years come October. And we're up around, I think I want to say 1,300 members. And it's a diverse group too. I mean, we have JMC, we have Dave Furnoy, we have Kristen Paiva, Kim Herden, Tina Marasco. We also have, brand new people that are signing up daily, and they're asking questions. You could ask a question and Dave Furnoy could answer it.
That's
You
pretty
know, you tell
And
that story.
there's a lot of, I don't know that people realize how many small groups, large groups, because they're really varying. They all overlap, but there's so many.
Exactly.
There's the VO booth besties, there's Such a Voice, there's the VO pros. There's at least a dozen VO pros. Let's be real. it's the
Very
most
common.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can, and there's so many, because I know people that are in one that aren't in another, and it's not for any picking and choosing favorites by any means,
Right.
It's just, oh, well, this one has this little niche, this one has all the ladies in it, and that's not for the guys. This one's got all the ladies in it.
Which one was the one that had all the ladies?
Yeah. All the ladies and Terry Briscoe. That's about it. Hey, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some people that I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
Corey, DVR, Donna's there.
Yep,
D.
Breeze.
One of the first persons that I ever met at a conference, Barry, and I always get her last name wrong. Tavares, yeah. I met her at Atlanta 2 or 3 years ago, and she was one of the first people that I've met in this business face to face.
She's a sweetheart.
Superstar.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh man, D. Alvis is in the house.
Indeed.
Hey, Carol Cahill and Soraya, and
Carol.
my girl Marion Mills. Thank you for showing up. Love you guys.
If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll answer them for you. I wanted to touch base on something I think Kari said about meeting people and being blackballed. Maybe it was Sky, about afraid to make the wrong impression.
The fear for beginners Listen,
people are people. Terry and I go way back. And one of the first things I told him is people are people. I've interviewed almost 1,000 celebrities doing morning radio, and people are just people. I'm just walk up and say hi. If they're too much of a person to be approached, you don't want them in your circle at this point. Move on. There's only been one or two.
It's hard for everyone to do that, though. Like everyone is not as out front as you are. I'm much more reserved than you are when it comes to stuff like that.
I'll do what I did with Terry. If you see me at a conference, come say hi. I'll tap on anybody's shoulder and say, "Hey, have you met so and so?" and walk away. And I'll
do that. Do it. It's not a threat. It's a promise.
It's a promise. Trust me, you'll thank me for it after all the anxiety goes away.
I will say timing can be very important, because it's one of those biggies with the conferences, I think, that people run into is, oh, I have to talk to so and so, and oh, sorry, Jim.
No,
he's just trying to get his camera.
Camera's doing weird stuff on me.
Raising your hand, me.
Yeah, no.
At the end of, you see just a bum rush to a stage every time at a panel or something. It's like, you will see them. We only have 3 to 5 days, but you will see them again. Don't bum rush them. Just find time that's organic. Buy them a cocktail, or let them buy you a cocktail. Whatever you want, or two, yeah. And just find time. Tap them on the shoulder. Hi, my name is so and so. Love your work. And kind of go from there.
I think this ties back into something you said earlier, Sky, that really hit me, is that you don't want these relationships to be transactional. And, when you combine the fact that A, everybody's a person, B, don't try to make the relationship transactional, just try to get to know the person. It changes your behavior. You're not going to rush them at the stage asking for opportunities. You're going to want to buy them a drink, right? Or whatever. So treat them like a person, treat it like a relationship. I think it's...
All right, so I want to highlight a comment from Tina Zaremba. So it's not a question, but a reflection. Feels like one of the most powerful ways to build community is by shifting from what's in it for me to how can I serve or bring value to someone else, which is exactly what we're just talking
Someone's
about.
been reading fortune cookies. Yes, absolutely.
Unroll it. Take value to everybody. All right.
Yes, 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 yes. Do unto others as you would want done unto you. It
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
they all go absolutely hand in hand. You know,
Mm.
be human. I think
Be
is just the
human.
bottom line.
Yeah.
Be a person. Be human. Be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Be
And,
authentically you.
like Sky said, when I started out, I didn't think I could approach anyone, and I didn't really feel like I had a voice, and I was really daunted in the industry, and I just didn't know who to talk to. And you get on your first couple live direction calls and you're all worried and you dress to the nines, and then they get on screen and you're like, oh, they're just people and they're wearing t-shirts.
They don't even have their cameras
We
on.
were
half
wearing
the time.
hang
I'm like, I'm sitting up here in a vest with a tie on.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. I
It's
did
100
that.
degrees out.
Yeah, it's
Got my
sweating
hair
before your
cut
time.
yesterday just for it. Made sure I was clean shaven. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, yeah, it's so key. Again, you learn really quickly. People are just people, and we're all audio nerds. I mean, we're all in it because we can do it this way. We can record in our booths, we can record in PJs and stuff like that. And
Right.
so, no one's above that. No matter how high in the industry, they're still just people. They're still just working in audio. They still want to be casual and they want to be treated like a human. So that's the
And I
key.
think even more so as they become more and more experienced voice actors. Not to name drop, but I mean, Dave Fenoy has become one of my closest friends. And that's just because we were human to each other. There was no agenda. There was nothing in it for me, nothing in it for him. And we just became friends. And that's the best recommendation for everybody.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. So let's talk about inclusion in your communities. Where have you seen inclusion done right, and not necessarily in your community, but have you seen it go wrong anywhere?
In terms of rights, and this is kind of VO community at large, and I was having a laugh about it because when Karen Gilfrey won her award for Female Artist of the Year last year, she brought all the other women up on stage. And it was a class act. It was inclusive. It celebrated not just their work, but all women's work within the industry. And it was just a beautiful gesture, and it was humble, and it was divine to see. And then somebody else was like, "Oh, well, I guess we should all just do that." I was like, "No." No. So I think there is it's gotta be that just right. It's in the moment. It lands well, but you can't.
It's sincere, right? You don't want to
Plus
make
the
it
award-
insincere when everyone does it.
Plus, the award show always goes over an extra 45 minutes. We don't have to go an extra 2 hours. That's
You
all.
almost miss your flight sometimes. There's a lot.
And I'm flying out on Monday.
But it was so
fly out
special.
the next day.
I think you nailed it. Sincerity is those moments where, and I've seen it it happens at the conferences a lot, and it also happens outside the conferences too, where you just approach somebody, he's like, hey, I saw you, and I just wanted to get to know you because it's like when I spoke to Dan Friedman, it's like, you're always so welcoming, you are just so nice to be around, and he is, and it's sincere.
He's a pleasant guy, man.
He's just a sweetheart, absolutely, and he's sincere in everything he does. And it reflects. So I think, having that sincerity is where it works.
But can you talk to him because he's an accomplished author? Of course you can.
But you know what though? Dan will absolutely give you his point of view from a kind place.
Oh, very much so.
If he doesn't agree with you, he will not just stand there and agree with you. Like, he'll be like, I don't agree with that at all. But here's
honesty and sincerity.
Honestly, gotta like it both. I also want to highlight this comment, and it's just from LinkedIn user. I don't know who you are. You should have.
Mr. and Mrs. User is that? I'm not sure.
Well, what is your take on too much community and how to find where you fit best with so many groups, people, events, and platforms? I feel like it's easy to be spread too thin. So let me address that first. Yes, that is absolutely a thing. Hi, Dennis. Thanks for joining. That is absolutely a thing, and you do have to find the community that, number one, you want to join someplace where you can also provide value, not just you're getting something. Even if you're a new person, what you can provide as a new person is fresh perspective on something, or you can bring those who have been in the industry for a very long time back to that. Oh wow, I remember what that was like.
Or show up with cookies.
That's like. Let me find out what that's like now.
Yeah.
because it could be a completely different thing. In 5 years, the industry changes so much, right? So
Yeah,
you came
and
in
your
5 years
questions are
ago,
valuable.
right? Those
Mm,
questions are so valuable now,
mm,
and allowing the people who are leading those groups and get different levels. You want to find a group that has different levels in it. Like if you can find people that are
Mhm.
top-notch voice actors, brand new people. I'm
yeah.
not gonna say newbies because apparently that's a bad thing now. But you got top-notch people, then you got people who are new to the industry, and you got those a lot of those sprinkled in the middle. You got tech people, you got people that do art, that do fiction, that do audio
Mhm.
dramas, that do audio books that are like nonfiction. So you just try to find a place where it's pretty versatile, where you can add something to the space yourself. That would be my advice.
Yeah,
Anybody else have thoughts on that?
I do want to just add it's a real problem. And I've been thinking on this myself, and it's a challenge that I face with my server. I don't want people to feel obligated to be participating, you know. And if
Mm.
it's something like, oh, I might miss a casting call or an important discussion, or what if and what if I didn't check it often enough, and then I'm not included in something that's released, and um, it's I don't want anyone to feel the pressure or stress or
Right.
obligation of having to stay on the server or constantly go back and check in. And I'm not sure exactly the way around that. I do my best to reach out directly via email and other ways so that they don't feel pressured to be on the server.
Mhm.
But most of my voice talent are juggling probably 30 to 50 different servers. It's intense.
Oh, it's crazy.
On
Yeah.
Discord, it's crazy. Just
Discord,
like
I'll tell you right now,
Discord, really
Discord should
crazy.
be gone. Whoever
Well,
invented Discord should not be allowed to do anything else but share my Discord. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They're definitely ADHD. Whoever invented
Yeah.
Discord is definitely.
well, I think
Yes.
the when it comes to voiceover, as Yinka says, Yinka Ladande, the hustle is real.
Oh yeah.
And you've got to fill your own cup first. You've got to just like, okay, if I need to take a Saturday off because I am so overwhelmed, like take a Monday off, I
Right.
think filling your own cup first, making sure that you're not spread too thin, and recognizing when it's happening is really important. And having the sorts of community that you build, you can see it in other people. Because I've had somebody approach me like, "Hey, you look pretty, exhausted in all kindness. You look like you've been
Wow.
running the midnight oil." And it's like, God, I actually have been. I need to take some time off, and the encouragement within the community to say, "Hey, yeah, it's maybe you got to take a little bit of time off. That's
Yes.
important."
Yeah.
Yeah, and those communities will still be there. We'll still be
Exactly.
there. I have a lot of people so afraid they're going to miss something important. It's like, no, we're going to be there and we will tag you if it's important, it's just really key. And I think just be comfortable doing a gut check, if the community doesn't feel right, it's
Yeah.
probably not right, and that's
Right.
okay.
I want to thank Tyler for that question because a great question, and to look at it from the user point of view as opposed to the organizer point of view, find something like has been said already that resonates with you. Find something that you're comfortable in, because it doesn't have to be a Discord server where you're looking for work and you're trying to be
Yeah.
part of that whole. It could be just for fun. It could be just for
Yeah.
for mental relaxation too. We try to provide with the Microphone Insider. We try just to provide information. We don't try to have any sort of. We like people to participate, but we're looking for people just to come in and have a safe place just to ask a question. We all know we go to some Facebook and other servers and things, and you ask, "Hey, what's a good microphone to use? I'm just starting." Can't you look back, do a search? Why waste the effort to answer the question with negativity instead of just answering the question? We have none of
Yeah.
that, and I try to foster that community and I don't want to say police that community, but
Oh no,
we've
police
never had an
community is the
issue
right
with it.
word. No, it's
So
the right
And
word.
we can
is that
police.
the
We
right word?
police.
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna give it short. I'm gonna give it short. When I was a new person in voiceover, I had just actually completed my training as such a voice and done my demo, and I was like, okay, I got my commercial demo in hand now. What's the next move? I always wanted to be a cartoon character in animation. I was like, okay. I went on a server, a very famous person server who I'm not going to put out there, so don't ask. But I went on there and I was like, okay, I made the cardinal sin of asking how many voices I should do on a demo. And you'd think that I murdered a line of babies or something because I said the word voices instead of characters to
Yeah.
create. And the person that have actually made a very thoughtful response, right? And I was like, okay, I appreciate that. But then, because it was in a Facebook group, the pile on started. the pile on started, and they were just like, we don't do voices, we create characters. And I was like, I just said the wrong word, man. Like, keep the 9 back. Like, what are we doing right now? And it was probably 30 to 40 people that piled on me with that one
And why
new
waste
person comment. And
why
why
waste
would
that
how
effort?
did the moderator not stop that?
Yeah.
There's going to be none of that going on in our groups.
And and
None
and,
of
and,
it.
and if you
Same
think
in the
about it,
social group.
we all met each other because of these communities. If you think about it, I mean, I wouldn't know Terry unless he had been a part of Such a Voice and then a part of Tim Powers' Mic Dropper group, because he's coached with Tim. I coached with Tim, so we've met through that. Carrie, we met through a love of audio dramas, and with Sky, you're with Such a Voice. So that's where I started as well. But all these people, everybody in my life right now, except for the people that I can throw rocks at, are not that I throw rocks at people, are people that I've met within these communities, you know? So,
and just to highlight, because Carol asked, she said, hey,
thank
I'm
you,
just a
Diana.
newbie. What do you mean when you
Diana's
talk
here.
about servers
Okay.
relative to VO? We're talking about, there's a ton of Facebook groups. there's groups on LinkedIn, there's groups on Discord, there's groups on
So many
Twitter.
more on Discord.
Yeah.
You list a social media, there's going to be a group, and you don't have to, to highlight Tyler's question, you do not have to be on everyone. It's like the conferences. You don't have to go to every conference. Pick the ones that work for you.
It's like social media. Find the ones that you can manage and you have fun with, and put it all into that. You don't have to be part of 50 Discord servers and 25 Facebook groups. You'll go crazy.
Got time for that.
Nobody got time for that.
Not at all.
Nobody got time.
I'm not even on Twitter and don't plan to join.
I mean, you mean
because
X?
No, I don't.
It's called Twitter till I die.
Whatever they want to call it today or tomorrow, I don't plan on joining because I find it to be a cesspool. So I'm not there. And yes, I am missing out on some auditions. I'm not gonna sit here and lie.
But it's by choice.
For my sanity,
Yeah,
I'm good. I don't need those auditions.
Well,
I'm not a TikToker by any means.
Oh God, no,
you
that's younger than all of us, I think.
I
Carrie, how
love
old are you?
I love TikTok.
See, I have Facebook for my friends. I have LinkedIn for business, and being as old as I am, Instagram. Well, that's for the kids, you know. But that's for 35-year-old kids.
Too old
I
for
thought
TikTok,
TikTok was
but
for
I
the
loved
kids.
it. Yeah, it was.
Carrie,
for
you
the
mentioned
kids.
Discord. So you're on TikTok, you're on Discord. What else are you on?
Oh no, I'm definitely not on TikTok. I am on Carrie's server on Discord and maybe 2 others. I do my Facebook. I do my business on LinkedIn because it's a business site and I run a business. So I do make sure that I feed that algorithm. The Facebook stuff is, that's for family and friends and for people to know when to show up for things like this, right? But like I said, don't do Twitter, don't do TikTok. Instagram is just fun for me because mostly if you go on my Instagram, it's either all stuff for the Microphone Insider workshops, fun things that we're doing, giveaways that we're doing, like the Christmas in July we're doing very soon. But the vast majority of my stuff is cooking pictures because
if Carrie can cook it, you can too. Is Clubhouse still a thing? A good
Is
question.
Clubhouse still a thing? Because I think Emma O'Neill and Mike Tobin still run their podcast off of
Nope,
Clubhouse.
they
Or did they
don't.
leave Clubhouse?
Nope, they don't. They don't.
I think
Yeah, they packed it up.
the last Clubhouse thing I saw, I think was just before VOA, and Lynn Norris and Bridget and Jessica would have people on that were going to be presenters, and it's just a Q&A type thing every Tuesday or something. But other than that, I mean, Clubhouse used to be the place.
I was never cool enough to get the OG invite. So
if you don't mind, Terry, I'd like to fall back to this TikTok thing for a second.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, because like all these voice actors out there that are really daunted by TikTok, and they're like, I just don't know about this thing. I just have to give a quick shout out that I met a lot of incredible VOs through TikTok, and you'd be surprised if you jump on there and you just Google, or not Google, sorry, you're on TikTok. TikTok.
We don't mention Google.
No, sorry, I know.
Oh no, don't mention Google around you.
I know. Search in, you can do VO challenge, VO exercise, and there's all kinds of, we were tossing VO challenges back and forth where you're working with somebody. You can post a skit, they can do edit and do the other half. we were having all kinds of fun on TikTok, and then we would do like public auditions
Who was
so that you
time
can
for
actually
that?
see.
Wow.
Oh, it was fun,
That's
Jim. It
so
was
I mean, I'm
time
sure it
fun.
is.
consuming.
Our guest is
But
coming up on the Microphone Insider is Stefan Johnson. He has
Oh, he's so fun.
millions of followers on TikTok.
yes, and I just met
Yeah.
so many incredible VOs at that time. We did a
Yeah.
bunch of things
Yeah.
together, so like Nels Gross
I
and
have a hard enough time
Autopsy.
being happy with my audio auditions, let alone video and audio, to be out there for the world. I mean,
I
that's
mean, Jim, come on, dance videos though. Come
dad
on,
videos.
come on,
Dance.
Jim,
You can
dance
do a
videos.
dancing audition. Just kidding.
Speaking of phenomenal VOs, hello Samantha Phil, y'all. Thanks for
Oh,
joining.
Oh,
Sammy.
oh, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I know it's not for everybody because you're on camera and that can be a lot for people. I get it. But if you ever were brave enough to just throw a public audition out there, it's really cool for us too. As you know, when you're on the casting director side of things and you can actually see them in their space, and it's just so much fun. Not
Yeah, when it,
necessary, but fun.
We have
Carrie,
some
you probably. Oh, sorry.
no say we have new we'll get back to it. I just want to make sure that I say we have a lot of new people, which is awesome. Can everyone drop where they can be found so that they can search you up?
Mm.
Yeah, we need addresses, people. We need addresses.
No.
So for me, you can find me on LinkedIn, just Sky Moffat, very casual. I'm updating my website. It doesn't look good right now, so I'm not going to put that out.
I might know a guy.
And you can also, so Such a Voice actually runs we're one of the VO Pro groups, and you can join the VO Pro group for free for the first month. And we bring in experts from all over the industry, but it's also just a great community for, other beginners, other intermediate, and then learning from people like Terry and like Jim and like Tim Powers and all these amazing people, and just forging your own community. So yeah, that's where you can find my stuff.
All
Cool.
right, Carrie, where can we find you? Could it be Carrie_Arcane Fiction?
Oh, yes, actually, thank you. That works as well. Yes, and just arcanefiction.com. I'm easy peasy. And you email me there. The thing is with my community right now, it is private. I do select invite to voice talent so if you email me and you say, hey, I'm interested in being a part of your community, I would immediately follow up with you and your work and maybe give a quick chat and just see who you are. I don't mean to gatekeep so much, but I just don't have the bandwidth for everyone, and so I'm bringing in people specifically that I know I would enjoy collaborating
I've been
with.
trying to get in for like the past 7 months now, so I'm keep my due diligence. We'll see what happens.
I'm sorry, Jim.
She's protecting her time.
It should
She's
not have
keeping the
taken that
community
long.
And what about you, Mr. Frank?
I'll make it easy for you. You can find all my links and everything at jimfrank.com.
Same.
Every link is there, so just click
Yeah.
on it. It's Jim Frank of some denomination somewhere.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Denomination. You're a religious leader over here? You can say,
I was
Hey,
thinking cash. I was thinking cash. Is what I was thinking.
my main man, Mike Cunningham.
I was gonna say I just saw Mike in the
Yeah.
comments.
Hey,
Oh,
thanks
hey,
for joining,
Mike.
And
Mike.
hey, you know what? Mike is a perfect example of forging his own path for community.
Yes.
He
Absolutely.
just had his own, it was called Get Out of Your Booth. So big shout out to Mike for forging the way. So there's local stuff. You don't have to go to these, I'm not bashing by any means any of these conferences or big groups and stuff. I wish I could go to every single conference. It would be exhausting, but
I tried to.
And
but,
you'd be
Mike-
very broke.
oh, I'm so broke. And Mike went out and he did his own, and it's smaller and local, and it's in Pennsylvania. And so, searching out that kind of thing, or if it doesn't exist, be the hero of your own story and make it happen.
And talk about community with that one, the diverse community, because you have, and I'm gonna use it, newbies. You have newbies so new that they're taking maybe 7 classes so far, maybe 6.
Take more.
Yeah, well, they just started, but they're there having conversations with Malik Berger. They're there having conversations with Brad Hyland, Dan Friedman, Terry Briscoe. So it's such a great diverse community that Mike has fostered here with Gentafoni from the VO Booth Besties, that they put this together, and it was such a great event.
And
and
I
the
mean,
community is
diversity of
fostering.
information. The
Yeah.
diversity of information was incredible.
But the community part of it is still going now with their Facebook page. There's still questions being asked.
Mhm.
There's still information being given out, and I see this growing, the community growing, but the conference will always stay tight, which is
Hmm.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah,
yeah, that's a
Yes.
good thing. That's a
Yes.
good
yeah,
thing. As
I
you
think
get that
something
one-on-one interaction.
yeah.
Yeah.
an
Mhm.
important note about community again is just that it's actually a smaller community than you think. I know that when I first got in to the voiceover world, I all of a sudden felt like it was vast. Like, oh, there's just thousands and thousands of voiceover artists. There's not as many as you think, particularly those that are active, that are community oriented. You'll find the same faces on all
Mm,
your in all the communities.
yeah.
So again, you have the right to be selective. Don't feel spread
Mhm.
out too thin. Don't be too stressed about being a participant in every community and every server out there. Just know the ones that feel right to you, and you'll know a lot of the same people. So don't
True.
worry.
And I will say, because I had somebody tell me one time, and it was a really great. It was voiceover, the community of voiceover, fresh cuts.
Oh, man, I love it. And the answer is yeah, yes, we could do that.
Or you can call them new kicks. Take your pick.
Okay.
Yeah, new
But
whip.
it's not just the conferences, and it's not just, I know a lot of voice actors that they don't go to the conferences.
Mm.
They aren't in a ton of these groups, or they're only on Discord. And so it's really, like Carrie said, it's finding what works for you, guarding your time sometimes, and that's really important.
Mm,
Okay, so
mhm,
I'm gonna Willis Thomas. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining.
mhm.
So I have dyslexia, and I was curious if you guys have worked with one of the voiceover with this particular, and if so, what was the experience? I have personally not worked with any students that have dyslexia up until this point. However, I do know that any organization worth its salt will have people that you can work with when you
Mhm.
have problems like
Right.
that or
Mhm.
challenges. Let me stop with problem. When you have challenges like that, so you want to seek that out. And when you make these connections with people to like when you're trying to learn, make sure you ask that question.
And I'm sure there's a
Yes.
community out there
Oh, sure there is.
specifically for voice
Mhm.
actors with dyslexia.
I guarantee you that there are
Or
probably at
similar,
least a
things that
dozen.
are grouped together. Yeah.
Right, right.
And I will say, I do know, Such a Voice has had some dyslexic students come through, and sometimes it's just a case of how do we make this totally fine and work for you, and in
Mm,
some cases it's just more cuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're gonna do X amount of takes, and we're gonna fit them all together. And so if dyslexia is something that you've got to just do more cuts, and then you're just going to polish up your editing, or you're going to outsource your editing to get those perfect cuts together. There's always a way.
There's
If you
always a
have the
way.
perseverance, there's always a way.
And this
Mhm.
is this goes into actually the panel that I was a part of at VO Atlanta this year, where we're talking about our disabilities and the diversity of disabilities. And the reason, like, it's one of those things people will not be able to know by looking at you. And that is exactly why I was on the panel. So the invisible disability.
yeah.
Oh, actually, Sony, that's a great idea. Start your own.
Start your own,
There you
yeah,
go.
because
Let
there are others.
Who's stopping you? There are definitely other. I can guarantee you there are dozens of them in the TMI group alone. I
So
can
so so
guarantee it.
so how does your disability of not being able to drive correctly inhibit you in voiceover, Terry?
Well, and I can't drive to conferences, so someone has to take me. Thanks, Mike. Thanks,
VO
Donna.
friends.
Thanks, Donna. And speaking of Donna, okay, she's
Yeah.
got a question. What VO business decisions have you made that has positively influenced your income or forward momentum the most?
Hmm. I
Thank
think
you,
this is a
Christy.
great question for
Um,
this panel.
that is a great question for this panel.
Carrie, do you want to
Because
start?
Right, yes. Well, I mean, because of course, the first thing I thought of is the relationships, and that's what community building in this space is all about. And I think the best VO business decisions for me have been putting my guard down and meeting people like a human, like we were talking about originally. It's those relationships that opened up organically through just being myself and having conversations about where they were at in their journey. And not only do you learn the best that way, but it opens you up for bigger opportunities in the industry. And it may not seem like it at the time. You know, you meet people and you chat and you get on and you create a relationship. Um, and when it's not for the sake of a transaction or a gig, then sometimes it feels like it didn't go anywhere. And then a year later, months later, you have that relationship. They reach back out and say, "Hey, guess what? I came across this role and you'd be great for it," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the relationships, and let it be about that. Let it be about the cool people that you're meeting along the way,
Mhm.
and meet them where they're at in their journey.
I've
Yeah.
said something to Terry a long time ago when it comes to community like this and the decision about meeting people. It's not who you know, it's who knows you and who knows the authentic you.
Yeah.
You know, not to put
Yes.
on you.
Don't be someone you're not.
I mean, I know people, but they don't know who I am, and how are they going to know me if we don't have a relationship together?
Everyone knows who you are.
Well, I don't know
Everybody else is
you know. But as far as a business decision, I've got to say marketing. When I decided to actually, two things, I decided to just be me, and when I say unapologetically Jim, I mean it. I am just 100% me now when I do auditions. But marketing, when I made that decision to actually market myself and be diligent about it, you start seeing.
That was me. Sorry.
All right, I don't know if I dropped something.
Everyone's looking at the ground. Oh,
Yeah.
what was that?
No. Carpeting. How'd that noise happen?
They're coming for us.
But anyhow, just my decision to market and to let people know who I am, and
Yeah.
to have people meet me, and that's done by conferences, networking, but it's also done by getting your work out there, by getting your name out there, by knocking on doors, ringing emails, just doing the thing. Jim is very much Jim. Absolutely.
That is-
And you
So
know
it's
what,
like-
Jim, that's perfect, because it's not even about being Jim. It's that my good friend Paul Schmidt, who also has a VO group, he also has his own.
He's a VO pro too, right?
He's also a VO pro. Yeah, you should check out Paul Schmidt's. But
absolutely.
He one day he said, "Stop waiting for it to happen to you."
Yeah.
Stop waiting. And that's something that I did, to kind of go back to the question, the business decision. I kept waiting. It was like, wow, one day I'll be in casting. One day. And then 2-3 years ago, it was like, oh, I should just do it. Why don't
Make
I
it happen.
Why don't I do that?
Don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen. Yeah.
And Jim, you said knocking on doors, sending those emails, make it happen. That is and that's community too. If you want community, make it happen.
Yeah.
Talk to people.
Make your own community if you don't have one. All right, so I want to see. We only got like 2.5 minutes left here, so I did want to ask this question. One small actionable thing someone watching right now today can do to build a more inclusive space around them in the industry.
Reach out to us. Take that first step and reach out to somebody new today. And then tomorrow, do it again. And then the next day, do it again. It's
Then you
one
tell
step a
two
day.
friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so
We've
on.
got a pyramid scheme going.
Yeah. TMI. What's that? Amway?
I would encourage, this seems like it's not relevant, but it is. Just be yourself, like Jim said, as much as you possibly can be. Please be authentic in how you communicate with people and where you are, and be human. I think that's the key for inclusion and community in general.
Yeah,
and then we know how to include you when you're you.
And even if you are an introvert, there's still a place for you for participation.
Yeah.
Participate in the events that are happening. Go to these workshops like we're doing now. Check out the podcast. I don't think Terry's missed one voiceover podcast in the past 48 months. But but even through just the comments, you watch the TMI show, and half 80% of the comments are people talking to each other within the show, as and the occasional question, or the occasional, "Oh, Jim, I can't believe you said that," but whatever. Unapologetically,
yes,
Jim. but just participate on your level. Don't do anything that's uncomfortable, because you can see it, you can hear it. Just be you.
Exactly. You can see it and hear it. Yes.
Yeah.
And I've said it a couple times already, but just don't stress it. If you feel stressed anywhere, it's probably not the place for you.
100%. Oh, that's a great comment, Jenna.
That's great, Jenna. Yeah.
Yep. Keep believing that you're enough. Just being you seems to be the theme for the week. Yep, absolutely. So for me, it is reach out to someone who you think might be different from you.
Mm.
You know, you're a super extroverted person like Sky and Jim. Grab a Terry. not, this, not this one. Not this.
Yeah.
Don't grab it. Like grab a Terry and just bring him on into the fold, and then you'll see what happens.
I tell you what, maybe go the other way, because I think if I came on to somebody as Jim and said, "Come on, join me for some fun," it might go a little better if they approached me and I said, "Yeah, we'll hang out." I don't want to
But
scare
see,
people, but
that's the thing about introverts that they're not gonna do that though.
I was like, introverts, find your one extrovert. Find an extrovert and cling to them. We love it.
yeah,
We're like, yo, have you met my little basket of introverts?
Yep. Yep.
you're absolutely
I love
right.
that
You're
basket of
absolutely right.
introverts.
You're absolutely right.
I collect them and I put them in my collection.
Oh my
Have you met Terry?
Here's one I think you'll like. Have check my wares.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Well, and on that note, if we have time, like if you're an introvert in a community or server and you feel pressed to participate and converse more and I'm just loitering and I'm not saying enough and all this other stress that comes with that, don't even worry about it. I'm
right.
serious, we do not mind at all. And we know that everyone's there to different degrees. Some people like to participate a lot. Some people would rather just see what's going on. That's okay. Again, don't feel pressed to be outside of who you are. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful. And on that note, I believe it is time for us to wrap, y'all.
Now it's time to
Oh,
say
thanks,
goodbye
Terry.
to
Oh my.
all our family.
All right, y'all. A couple things. I just want to give a thank you to my excellent panel: Sky Moffat from Such a Voice, Carrie from Arcane Fiction, and Mr. Jim Frank from The Microphone Inside. I appreciate you guys coming on with me
Thank
Well, we
you.
appreciate you,
and
Terry. Thank you.
sharing your time and expertise on behalf of Building Doors. We truly appreciate you, and a big shout out to everyone. It was so much engagement in the chat today. Big shout out to you all guys
Yes,
that joined
thank
us
you.
live. And if you want to support the campaign, buy us a coffee. Go to buyacoffee.com/buildingdoors to donate. And thanks to our recent supporters, William Nunn, Andrea Burke, Kristen Mokanda, Sandy Harrison Cooksey, and Katarina Surtees.
I take
And
mine black with one Splenda, just in case anybody, or maybe some Baileys. Just saying.
And we
Thanks so
would
much.
love to keep the conversation going. Call 216-307-1917 anytime to leave us a short voicemail with your thoughts on today's discussion and the Building Doors campaign. And do not miss the next live event with Christy Harst, the State of Building Doors, June 25th. That's about
Ooh.
a right date. We'll get
That
that
can't
date
be right.
for you. We'll get that date
Date?
we'll get that date right for you.
I'm going to say July 25th. I'm just going to go on a limb.
Yeah, let's go with
Yeah.
that.
All right. Cool.
All right. Thank you all
That's it.
and have a fantastic day.
Aw, thank you.
Terry, thank you for doing this, man. Great job, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
having us. And thank you, Christy, for all you